Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, today I want to talk just a little bit about shop organization and welding table organization and how I assemble things around my welding table to make my fabrication much more efficient. But I've been getting a lot of people on the comments section saying, how do you keep your garage so organized? How is it always so clean? Why does it never look like there's anything out of place? Well, that's just the way it is with me, and it's a very simple process to do. What I've learned from a long time ago, that a good shop is a clean shop. And so at the end of the day, it only takes me 10-15 minutes at the max to go around and put all the tools away, clean up everything, and get ready for the next day. So that's the way I do it. It may not be good for you, but that's the way I like to do it. So every day I start fresh and I have a nice clean shop. So let's take a closer look at the welding table and show you how I keep that organized for fabrication. Okay, so here's my welding table right here. Now I want to talk about if you're building your own welding table and you're thinking about how to organize it in your shop. I'm just going to tell you how I did it. This may not work for you, but this is the way I chose to do it, and this is why. My welding table is 4 foot by 6 foot long, and I put it to the side of my shop right here to allow the center section to be wide open. Oftentimes I can back my truck straight in off the street, right in here, and unload 20-foot long material if I have to, and I've got this section wide open. I like to have it wide open so I have plenty of room to do things. So I've chose to move it to the side over here, and also creating a lot of space all the way around this table. I've got plenty of room, more than 4 feet all the way around, plenty of access, plenty of room. And also I've built it at the same elevation as my workbench right here. And the reason for that is if I have long pieces of material and I bring them in, I can set them up on my workbench, drag them across here, and I can put 15, 16, 18 foot material on here, and everything is perfectly level no matter where I go. So that's something to think about if you're going to make a welding table, and you have something like this, to keep everything at a nice elevation so you can utilize everything in your shop. One thing that I did make a mistake on when I made this welding table is the top. This is only a 1/4 inch thick plate. And if you're going to, my suggestion, if you're making a welding table, you should use a minimum of a 1/2 inch thick or thicker. And the reason why is 1/4 inch is good, and I'm probably not going to change it, but this is 2.5 inch square tube frame all the way around with the center support across the center right here. And what happens with this 1/4 inch is all the way around it's tapering off about 1/8 of an inch, and in the center right here it's actually crowned at 1/8 of an inch. So this table is not perfectly flat, and it is nice to be able to have a perfectly flat table for layout purposes. If you're building a gate or building something and you're building on a 45 or a 90-degree angle, it's nice to be perfectly flat so your joints are nice and true and square. I have to compensate for that when I make those joints. I have to shore it up a little bit on one end or the other to be sure it's nice and flat. So let's just go around and I'll show you how I organize the table and how it works well for me, and maybe you guys can think about doing the same thing if you're looking, to be organized in your fabrication. So in this corner right here, I have my layout tools. I have a lot of people ask me, what are those pencils you use? What marker do you use to mark your metal and your steel with? This is just a silver pencil, and you can see I have several of them right here. They're very inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon for a box of 12 for like 12 bucks. They're about $1 a piece or something like that. I have tons of them right here. I use them all the time. Tape measure, squares, everything that I need for layout is right here. And then right next to that, you can see I've got my grinding wheels, my flap discs, my cutoff wheels. In a minute, I'll show you on the other side where I keep my grinders. So when I'm constantly working here, I have access to everything right here. If I need to change out, I'm not running across my shop or running over to the drawer to grab what I need. Everything is right here, and that works out good. These are just big aluminum and metal blocks. I use them for cooling or backing if I'm welding or TIG welding, I'm filling holes or doing whatever. I use these blocks right here for backing and support or bracing up stuff. They come in really handy, so I have a lot of those. Next to that, wire brush, slag hammer, files, everything that you need for your stick welding or any kind of welding. I keep everything handy right there. Electrodes. I keep all my electrodes right here. Now I know I'm going to get some comments out there from you guys saying your electrodes should be in a in a heated container or concealed in some way. Well, yeah, they probably should, but you know what? I don't do this every day. I don't stick weld every single day. And to be honest with you, these electrodes have been sitting out here for 5 or 6 years. I've never had any problems with them. As a matter of fact, just today, I used a 7014 that I've had down here for 5 or 6 years. It burned perfectly good. But I keep everything organized right here. Everything is right in reach, and that's pretty important. Power. You got to have power. Now this is you don't necessarily have to have 12 outlets like I have right here. But you know, having multiple outlets, sometimes I use multiple grinders, 4 or 5 grinders at a time, and I'll show you that in a minute. All my grinders have different wheels on them for different reasons. And I have several of those plugged in at the same time. So power is important rather than dragging extension cords all the way across or unplugging one end to plug in another. It's nice to be able to have some power on your welding table. Let's move around the corner and I'll show you what's going on here. Okay, so on this side over here, this is where I keep all my filler metal right here. I've got a rack that fits underneath here, and I've got all my aluminum rods, stainless rods, silicon bronze, mild steel. I got everything on all sizes here from 40 thousandths up to 1/8 inch. Everything is accessible right here. When I need something, I pull it out, shove it back in. Everything is cool. I like being organized like that. I've got a little bracket right here to hold my welding helmets. I got several welding helmets. I keep the one out here that I use most often, and I got a nice little hook for that. Now these things right here are pretty cool. I have 3 of them. You can see there's 3 different colors right here. What they are torch holders, stinger holders, or you know, whatever you want to use them for. This one is your MIG gun holder. The blue holds the MIG gun in there really nice. This is the TIG torch holder. It's designed to hold TIG torch perfectly. This is your stick welding stinger lead holder, and it holds it in several different ways on here. They're handy. They're magnetized. You can take them all over the welding table, stick them on, and then when you're done, again, I just stick them right here. They're out of the way. You don't have to have these, but it's just a little added feature to have. It's pretty cool. And of course, a fire extinguisher. You always got to have a fire extinguisher handy. You never know if something's going to happen. All right, it's kind of tough to get the camera down in here, but anyways, this is where I keep my angle grinders. I've just welded a piece of flat bar all the way across the side of my welding table, and this is where I hang my angle grinders. I've got 7 of them currently here. All 7 of them have different wheels, different size grinding wheels, flap discs, 2 different grits, wire wheel, cutoff wheel, polishing wheel. And I use these regularly and all the time, and having multiple grinders and having easy access to them makes fabrication a lot more efficient and easy, having all these different wheels on these grinders all the time. Pretty cool, and I have to say that it's easy. You just, when you use them, you pull them off, undo the cords. When you're done, put the cords back on, hang them on the rack right here. It just works out really well for me. They're out of the way, and again, they're much more efficient to have them close to your work when you're working. Let's move on around the corner. All right, it's kind of a weird angle, but that's the best I can do for you guys. All right, so on this side right here, this is where I keep all my mag squares. Now, I have all different sizes of mag squares, from these little tiny guys to bigger ones. And I always buy them in pairs. I always have 2 of everything. They work really good. These red ones right here are fairly inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon or your big box store or your welding supply store. Fairly inexpensive. I think these bigger ones are somewhere around 10 bucks. The smaller ones are somewhere around $5. But I have all different sizes. They work well. I also have some strong hands, a little bit more pricier, but they're a little bit more nicer. They got on-off switches right here, which make it pretty convenient. And so I've got these. And this is, I also have some on this side over here. I don't know if you can see it. These right here are strong hand mag tabs. These ones right here are adjustable. They're really handy for doing small fabrication where you can tilt things and move things at different angles. I've got a couple of different sizes of these as well. And these are brand new from Stronghand. I just got these last week. They look cool. I don't even know if I can use them, but I'll use them for something somewhere along the line. They look pretty cool. Nice. It's always nice to have good stuff like this. And this is where I also keep all my clamps. This is just a simple piece of 1/2 inch round tubing that I welded across here, and I've got all my clamps in here. These clamps get used all the time, different size clamps. I got little ones right here, and lots of these ones right here are really handy. I've got a lot of these things. I use a lot of them. I've got some spring clamps right here, metal ones on the end, plastic ones right here. Anyways, a nice way to keep them organized is by this this 1/2 inch tube that I have welded across. You can see how they just hang on there. They're easy access, and you can put them away and you keep them nice and organized, especially if you got a lot of them like this. All right, so there's my welding table, and the way I like to keep it organized to make my job much more easy and efficient. And I hope for you guys that if you're thinking about building a welding table of your own, I hope I've given you some information that'll help you to build the one that works well for you. And don't forget how to position it in your shop and how to utilize everything you have in your shop to maximize your welding table. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I know it's kind of random, but I thought it would be some informative information. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Jimbos Garage. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe for more.
See you next time on Jimbos Garage.